Somewhere in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, there is a nation built entirely on rock. Not metaphorically. Literally. The country is composed of 10 volcanic islands, each one punched upward from the ocean floor by geological forces millions of years ago. And they are surrounded by thousands of kilometers of open sea in every direction. The nearest mainland is the coast of West Africa, 570 kilometers away. The nearest thing to a neighbor is the Canary Islands, barely within sight on a clear day. And yet, for over 550 years, human beings have chosen to call this place home. Here is the fact that stops every visitor the first time they hear it. This nation is completely encircled by water. The Atlantic Ocean stretches to every horizon in every direction. And yet the government had to build factories, enormous industrial machines positioned along the coastline, to manufacture the most basic substances a human body needs to stay alive. Water. These islands receive almost no rainfall. There are no permanent rivers. In some years, not a single drop of rain falls on certain islands for 12 months in a row. So the government built desalination plants, massive industrial facilities that suck seawater in from the ocean, boil it, strip the salt out, and pipe the results to people's taps. The drinking water in your glass on this island was, 3 hours ago, part of the Atlantic Ocean. This is Cape Verde, Cabo Verde. And the question it asks you from the moment you arrive is this: what kind of people look at a barren volcanic rock in the middle of the sea and decide, this is where I am building my life? When the plane descends toward the island of Santiago, the largest island in the archipelago, the thing you notice first is the color, or rather, the absence of it. The island is brown. A deep, parched, burnt amber brown that looks like the surface of another planet. After hours of flying over the blue Atlantic, the sudden appearance of these dark volcanic masses rising from the ocean is genuinely arresting. They look less like a tropical paradise and more like a geological warning. They look like something primordial, something that is not finished, being made. Then you step out of the airport terminal and the wind hits you. It is not a gentle island breeze. It is a force. The northeast trade winds that have been crossing 5 kilometers of open Atlantic before slamming into these islands with the same directional purpose they have had for thousands of years. The wind carries two things simultaneously: the sharp, clean bite of ocean salt and a faint, dry warmth that is unmistakably African. A whisper of the Sahara carried across the sea. But then your eyes begin to adjust to the colors of the built environment, and Cape Verde performs its first surprise. Against the barren, brown and gray volcanic rock, the houses are painted in colors that feel almost defiant. Mint green, pale yellow, warm terracotta, sky blue. It is as if the people, denied color by the land itself, decided to manufacture it themselves on every surface they could reach. In the towns, the walls are painted, the doorways are painted, the staircases are painted. Color is the first act of resistance you witness in Cape Verde. Then there is the sound. Music. Always music. It drifts from open windows, from cars, from old men sitting on low stone walls outside small bars. It is the sound of Morna, the national music of Cape Verde, a form so unique and so deeply expressive of the Cape Verdean soul that UNESCO recognized it as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity in 2019. It is the blues of the Atlantic. Slow, aching, beautiful. There is one image from Cape Verde that will stop you scrolling. It will make you look twice, then share it, because you will not believe it is real. It is a photograph taken from above, looking down into the caldera of Pico do Fogo, the active volcano at the heart of Fogo Island. Inside the caldera, which is the collapsed crater left behind after an ancient eruption, the landscape is entirely black. Black lava rock, black volcanic ash, black soil that looks incapable of supporting any life at all, and growing directly out of it, emerald green vineyards. Pico do Fogo is the highest peak in Cape Verde at 829 meters, and it last erupted in 2014, burying an entire village called Chadas Calderas in a river of lava. The residents were evacuated. The government told them it was too dangerous to return. Within months, they had moved back anyway. They climbed back down into the caldera, pushed the cooled lava aside, and began rebuilding on top of the destruction. Why? Because the volcanic soil is, paradoxically, extraordinarily fertile. The minerals from the eruption that destroyed their homes also created one of the richest growing environments on the island. Today, inside the caldera of an active volcano, a volcano that erupted less than 12 years ago, farmers grow some of the finest wine grapes, coffee, and corn in all of West Africa. Wines from Fogo's volcanic caldera have won international awards. They are served in restaurants across Europe. The grapes that produce them grow in black ash a few kilometers from a smoking volcanic vent at altitude, in one of the most inhospitable environments on the planet. It is, in the truest sense of the phrase, farming at the edge of the world. If Fogo is the island of fire, Santo Antão is the island of the sky. It is the second largest island in the Cape Verde archipelago, and it is nothing like what you would expect to find this close to the coast of Africa. Santo Antão is green. Deeply, almost impossibly green. A wall of towering volcanic peaks, draped in cloud forest, and cut by ravines so deep and so narrow that the sun reaches the bottom for only a few hours each day. The terrain of Santo Antão is considered by geographers and trekkers to be among the most dramatic on Earth. The mountains rise almost straight out of the ocean to heights of over 1,900 meters. There are no gentle slopes. Everything here is vertical. The agricultural terraces that cover the mountain sides, hand-cut by farmers over centuries. Retaining walls built from volcanic stone without mortar are a feat of engineering that would challenge modern construction crews. And the people who farm these terraces do not use machinery. They cannot. No road reaches many of the fields. Everything goes up and down on human backs, or occasionally on donkeys navigating paths barely wide enough for one person. The main walking route along the north coast of Santo Antão, from Chá de Graça to Ponta do Sol is one of the most celebrated trekking routes in Africa. It passes through valleys so green and lush, they look like a misplaced corner of New Zealand. Then rounds headlands where the trail is cut directly into a near vertical cliff face, hundreds of meters above the crashing Atlantic below. One wrong step, no railing, just the path, the rock, and the sea. Farmers walk this route every single day, carrying produce to market in a village on Santo Antão. Before the sun has fully cleared the mountain ridges above, a woman named Maria is already halfway up a steep stone path carrying a blue plastic container that holds 20 liters of water. She collects water every morning, not because her tap has stopped working today, but because the tap only flows for 2 hours between 5 and 7 in the morning, before the municipal supply shuts off until the following day. Everything that her household will use for drinking, cooking, and washing in the next 24 hours must be collected in those 2 hours. This is the rhythm of the morning in much of Cape Verde, and it has shaped everything. The architecture of a Cape Verdean home is built around water storage. Large ceramic containers called pots sit inside every kitchen. Blue plastic barrels line every terrace. The roof of every house is designed to capture the rare rainfall that comes, sloped, channeled, and piped directly into underground cisterns. Water is the first conversation of every morning and the last calculation of every evening. And yet, here is the thing that strikes every visitor. There is no anger in this, no resentment. Maria carries her 20 liters up the path the same way she has done since she was a girl helping her mother do the same. It is the rhythm of the islands. The Cape Verdeans have a word, morabeza, that they use to describe their national character. It translates roughly as a particular warmth, a relaxed and generous approach to life, a refusal to be hardened by hardship. The morning water walk is done with morabeza, carefully, without rush, with a quiet, ancient dignity. To understand Cape Verde, look inside a pot, not a restaurant pot, a home pot. A pot that has been simmering on a low fire since yesterday afternoon, watched by a grandmother, stirred occasionally, adjusted by smell and instinct rather than recipe. Inside it is cachupa, the national dish of Cape Verde, and it is, in a single bowl, the entire history of these islands. Cachupa is a stew of dried corn, hominy beans, and whatever the sea or the earth has provided that week. In a poor household in a drought year, it is corn and beans. In a better week, there is fish from the morning catch, skipjack, tuna, grouper, wahoo. If there is meat, it is a small amount of salted pork or chicken, stretched across a large pot to feed many mouths. It is heavy, filling, designed for bodies doing manual labor on steep terrain. It is a dish that exists precisely because Cape Verde has almost nothing else that grows reliably, and dried corn can be stored for years. The waters around Cape Verde are, by contrast, extraordinarily rich. The islands sit at a confluence of Atlantic currents that creates one of the best fishing grounds in the world. Yellowfin tuna the size of a grown man's torso, blue marlin, wahoo. Every morning, at every small pier on every inhabited island, the same ritual. Boats come in, men unload, and the day's catch is chopped and sold directly on the dockside on wooden boards, without refrigeration, while it is still glittering. This is the other half of the Cape Verdean food equation. The land gives almost nothing. The sea gives everything. In the flat, bright, sand-blasted island of Sal, the name literally means salt in Portuguese. There is a surreal economy at work. Sal is the tourism island. It is where the international airports bring the package holiday visitors from Europe, mostly from Portugal, the Netherlands, and the United Kingdom. The beaches here are staggering. Miles of white sand and turquoise water that genuinely rival anything in the Caribbean. Resorts line the coastline. Kitesurfers ride the trade winds. The economy here is entirely organized around the fact that people will fly too. 500 kilometers from northern Europe to stand on this beach in December. But drive 30 minutes inland on Sal, away from the coast, and the surreal becomes even more pronounced. There is almost nothing. The island's interior is a flat, featureless lava, plain bone-dry, devoid of almost any vegetation. It is one of the most lunar landscapes on Earth. The contrast between the life on the beach and the emptiness just behind it is so sharp, it is almost comedic. On the mountain islands, Santo Antão, Brava, Fogo, the work is entirely different. It is agriculture, fishing, and construction. It is physical, steep, slow, and entirely dependent on weather and muscle. These are places where the mobile phone in a farmer's pocket is connected to a relative in Rotterdam or Boston who sends money home every month. The remittances sent back by the Cape Verdean diaspora, more than 1 million people living abroad, form a larger contribution to the national economy than any domestic industry. Cape Verde has, in effect, industrialized emigration. Its most successful export is its people. Ask a Cape Verdean child what they want to be when they grow up, and the answer will often contain a geography. A doctor in Lisbon, an engineer in Rotterdam, a footballer in France. The ambition is never divorced from the idea of departure. This is not unique to any culture. Young people everywhere look beyond the horizon. But in Cape Verde, the horizon is not metaphorical. It is the literal Atlantic Ocean, visible from almost everywhere on the islands, a constant physical reminder that the world beyond is very, very close, and yet very, very far. The children of Cape Verde grow up bilingual, almost universally, speaking Crioulo, the Creole language that is the true mother tongue of the islands, and Portuguese, the official language inherited from 500 years of colonial history. Many learn a third language, typically English or French, because they know they will likely need it. Education is prized with an intensity that surprises visitors. Cape Verde has one of the highest literacy rates in sub-Saharan Africa. In a place with so few natural resources, people understand intuitively that the only thing of irreplaceable value is what is inside a person's head. And yet, for all the talk of leaving, the children of Cape Verde play on the streets with a freedom and joy that is increasingly rare in the developed world. The games are loud, physical, and improvised. Football played on concrete in bare feet. Made-up games involving the beach. In the evenings, families sit on their doorsteps as the sun goes down and the wind picks up, and the children sit with them. Not on phones, not in separate rooms. Just there, watching the ocean go dark. There are 10 islands in the Cape Verde archipelago. 9 of them are inhabited, and none of them are connected to each other by any road, any bridge, or any fixed link of any kind. Every person who needs to travel between the islands must either fly or take a ferry. The most famous And the most dramatic of these crossings is between the islands of São Vicente and Santo Antão, just 17 kilometers of ocean. The ferry that makes this crossing, the Mar de Canal, is a lifeline. It carries people, fresh produce, construction materials, medical supplies. When it is cancelled and strong Atlantic swells cancel it regularly, Santo Antão is cut off. There are no other options, no emergency road, no backup bridge, just the sea, deciding whether you are going today or not. The remoteness between islands creates a particular kind of local loyalty. People from Santo Antão identify as Santo Antonese before they identify as Cape Verdean. People from Fogo carry their volcanic island's identity like a badge. Each island has developed its own distinct dialect of Crioulo, its own food traditions, its own particular character. In a country of 10 islands, you do not have one culture. You have 10, related, overlapping, but distinct, and the sea between them has made sure of it. The wind in Cape Verde has a name. Locals call it the Harmatão, though technically the Harmatão is a wind that originates deep in the Sahara Desert, carrying fine red dust across the Atlantic. When it arrives in Cape Verde, it coats everything in a thin orange film. Cars, windows, laundry drying on lines. The leaves of the few trees tough enough to grow here. Everything turns faintly ochre for days at a time. Visibility drops. The sky turns a strange, brownish white, and the air tastes of something ancient and dry that has nothing to do with the ocean surrounding you. It tastes of the Sahara, of a continent thousands of kilometers away, blowing its dust at you as a reminder that these islands are not truly isolated from the world. But the trade winds are the real constant. They arrive from the northeast every single day of the year, rarely taking a day off. They have shaped the architecture. You will notice that Cape Verdean houses rarely have windows on the windward side, and those that do have them are fitted with deep-set frames that deflect rather than stop the flow. They have shaped the landscape. Trees on the exposed hillsides grow permanently bent in one direction, like pointing fingers. And they have shaped the economy. The same winds that make agriculture difficult have made Cape Verde one of the world's finest destinations for windsurfing and kitesurfing. The island of Sal is considered one of the top 5 kitesurfing locations on the planet. The problem that made farming impossible created an industry that funds the government. On the island of Fogo, inside the volcanic caldera, where the 2014 eruption buried an entire village, the rebuilding community runs on solar power. The entire caldera, no grid connection. No power line could survive what the volcano did to it. Generates its electricity from photovoltaic panels mounted on the roofs of the rebuilt houses and community buildings. The cafe that serves visitors the famous Fogo red wine, pressed from volcanic ash-grown grapes, runs on sunshine that falls on a roof inside an active volcano crater. The surrealism of this detail is complete. Cape Verde as a whole has made a remarkable commitment to renewable energy that has attracted international attention. The country aims to generate 100% of its electricity from renewable sources, wind and solar, by 2030. For an archipelago with no oil, no gas, and no coal, this is not idealism. It is survival mathematics. Importing fuel for power stations costs money the government does not have. Building wind turbines costs money once, then the wind, which is, as noted, never in short supply, runs them for free. The wind farms visible on the ridgelines of several islands are not a statement of environmental philosophy. They are a statement of practical economics by a government that learned, centuries ago, to make do with what is actually available. In the village of Boa Vista, on the island of Santo Antão, there is a tradition that happens every time a boat arrives from another island carrying a new arrival. Even if the new arrival is someone returning home from a month away, people come out. Not just the family, the neighbors come. The woman from the bar comes. The old man who sits on the stone wall every morning comes. They come because it's a community of a few hundred people, connected to the outside world only by an unreliable ferry service. An arrival is an event. It is news. It is a small celebration of the fact that the person made it back across the water. This instinctive collectivism, the sense that every person's well-being is everyone's concern, was not built by a government program or a cultural ideology. It was built by necessity. In a place where there is no supermarket to bail you out, no ambulance that can arrive in minutes, no emergency service with extra capacity waiting around the corner. Your neighbors are your safety net. Always have been. If your water barrel runs out, a neighbor appears with a full one. If your fishing boat needs a repair you cannot afford, the men of the village show up on a Saturday morning with tools. If someone is sick and the ferry is cancelled, the whole village pools what it knows. It is the paradox at the heart of Cape Verdean society. Poverty of resources has produced a wealth of connection. And the visitors who come here and spend a week on the beach in a resort on Sal, watching this from a distance, often say the same thing when they leave. They do not say, "The beaches were beautiful." They say, "The people." On the 28th of November 2019, in Bogotá, Colombia, a small delegation of Cape Verdeans sat in the chamber of UNESCO's Intergovernmental Committee for the Safeguarding of Intangible Cultural Heritage. They were there for the announcement they had been waiting for more than a decade. When it came, when the words Morna were read out, and the declaration that it had been added to UNESCO's representative list, Feasts of the Intangible Cultural Heritage of Humanity, the delegation wept. Morna is the soul of Cape Verde. It is a musical genre born on the islands, a slow minor key form of song that expresses saudade, a Portuguese word for a beautiful, aching longing for someone or something that is far away. In Cape Verde, saudade is not a borrowed concept. It is the lived reality of millions of people, separated from their families across the Atlantic. It is the emotion of the one who stayed, watching the ferry carry someone away. It is the emotion of the one who left, hearing a particular song in a kitchen in Rotterdam 20 years later. The most famous practitioner of Morna was Cesaria Evora, born in Mindelo, São Vicente, in 1941. She sang barefoot, always barefoot, in solidarity with the poor of Cape Verde. And she became the first African woman to win a Grammy Award. She died in 2011, and her face appears on the 200 escudo note, but she is more than a banknote. She is the single most powerful ambassador Cape Verde has ever had. A woman who, through the universal language of music that expressed a deeply local sadness, made millions of people around the world feel they understood something true about this remote archipelago in the Atlantic. The first thing that people who have never been to Cape Verde assume when they hear African island nation is poverty. A desperate, hopeless poverty. The kind of story that brings charity collectors to doorsteps. They picture drought and hunger, and while both exist in Cape Verde's history, the famines of the 18th and 19th centuries killed a significant percentage of the population on several occasions. They do not picture what Cape Verde actually is today. Cape Verde is a middle-income country. Its Human Development Index places it solidly in the medium human development category, ahead of the majority of sub-Saharan African nations. It has been a stable multi-party democracy since 1991, having transitioned from one-party rule through peaceful elections, a fact that earns it considerable international respect and foreign investment. Its crime rate is low. Its institutions function. Its press is free. When international organizations rank the stability and governance of African nations, Cape Verde consistently appears near the top. It has done this with no oil, no minerals, no large-scale agriculture, and no strategic position of particular geopolitical value to large powers. The second assumption outsiders make is that Cape Verde is primarily a beach destination, a poor relation of the Maldives or the Canary Islands, with nicer weather than the UK in winter. This misses the mountains. It misses the culture. It misses the volcano. It misses Morna and Caesarea and Cachupa and the extraordinary historical story of a nation built from nothing by enslaved Africans and Portuguese colonial administrators who mixed in one of the least likely places on Earth and created something that was, in the end, entirely its own. João grew up in the village of São Felipe on Fogo Island, a small, handsome town built on the edge of the cliff above the sea. Its cobbled streets and pastel-colored colonial buildings preserved almost intact from the Portuguese era. His older brother left for Portugal when João was 12. His sister followed 5 years later. By the time João was 20, he was the only one of his siblings still on the island. He had the opportunity to leave. His brother offered to help him with papers, with accommodation. There was a job in a warehouse in Lisbon. He went to visit his brother once, stayed for 3 months, looked at the city, the gray sky, the crowd, the apartment block, the commute on the metro, and came back to Fogo. He came back to the volcano, to the view of the caldera from his window, to the smell of the coffee his mother grew in the garden, to the particular blue of the Atlantic on a clear February morning when the Harmattan dust settles and the light on the water is unlike anything he has seen anywhere else. João runs a small cafe in São Felipe now. He makes Fogo red wine available to visitors, along with coffee from the island's volcanic slopes. He is not rich by any international measure. He is, by the measure he applies to his own life, exactly where he is supposed to be. He says, "The island knows you exist. The city does not." Anna left Cape Verde at 22. She went to Rotterdam, where her uncle has a small business, and she worked there for 11 years. She learned Dutch. She got a professional qualification in logistics. She had a good apartment in a good neighborhood. She had a Dutch partner, briefly. She had a life, a full, working, functional life in one of the richest cities in Northern Europe. And she was, she says, never entirely there. There is a Cape Verdean Portuguese phrase that the diaspora uses. A volta, the return. Spoken about not as a possibility, but as an inevitability. The assumption, even among those who have built entire lives abroad, is that one day there will be a return. It is different from nostalgia. It is more operational than that. It is the persistent, practical plan that sits behind every other plan. Anna came back 12 years ago. She brought her savings, her qualifications, and her Dutch refined sense of logistics. And she opened a small tourism operation on Santo Antão. Guided treks through the mountain valleys, connecting international visitors with local farming families, building something that did not exist on the island before. She employs 11 people from the village. Her business is entirely carbon neutral. She built it, she says, because the mountain asked her to come back, and she finally listened. Ask her if she misses Rotterdam. She thinks carefully before answering. She says, "I miss the infrastructure. But infrastructure is not a life. There are elderly women on the island of Brava, the most isolated of the inhabited islands, reachable only by an infrequent ferry from Fogo, who still make traditional lacework in the old Portuguese colonial style. The lacework is extraordinarily fine, extraordinarily time-consuming, and extraordinarily uncommercial. A piece that takes 3 months to complete sells for the kind of money that does not justify 3 months of a person's time by any modern economic calculation. The young women of Brava do not learn this craft. They are learning something else: English, tourism management, computer skills, and when the last of the old women put down their bobbins, the tradition will be over. There are languages dying on these islands too. Specific island to Iceland variants of Crioulo. The Creole tongue that is the real mother language of Cape Verde are flattening under the pressure of television, social media, and the standardization that comes when a nation tries to build a single identity from 10 separate island cultures. And the great bird migrations are diminishing. Cape Verde sits on the East Atlantic Flyway, one of the great migratory routes for birds traveling between Europe, Africa, and the Americas. Loggerhead sea turtles, one of the oldest species on Earth, still come to nest on the beaches of Boa Vista and Sal in their thousands, making Cape Verde one of the world's most important turtle nesting sites. But the beaches are being built on. The lights of the resorts disorient the turtles. The numbers are declining. There are conservation programs. They are fighting, as conservation programs usually are, against economics. In the cities of Praia and Mindelo, the generation that of age after Cape Verde got smartphones and reliable internet is navigating a very specific tension. They are, for the first time in the country's history, young people who can see the entire world from their bedroom without leaving the island. They follow content creators in Paris. They watch vlogs from Tokyo. They see the kind of life available elsewhere. The restaurants, the concerts, the career options, with a clarity that no generation before them has possessed. And they are measuring it against what the islands can offer. What the islands can offer is changing, but slowly. There is a growing creative economy in Mindelo, Cape Verde's second city, widely regarded as the cultural capital, home to the famous February Carnival that rivals Rio in terms of local intensity. There are recording studios, fashion designers, graphic artists, a small but serious film scene, and yet, surveys of young Cape Verdeans consistently show something that surprises researchers. Despite everything, The majority say they want to stay. They want better infrastructure, better career options, better institutions. But they want these things here, not in Europe. The desire to improve the islands is, for this generation, as strong as the desire to leave them. They are building that identity in real time. Drive to the western edge of the island of Fogo in the late afternoon, to the place where the cliffs drop vertically into the Atlantic, and there is nothing between you and the coast of South America. The midday wind drops. The light changes. This particular quality of late afternoon Atlantic, warm, amber, slightly hazy, arrives without warning and transforms everything it touches. The black volcanic rock turns gold. The sea below turns from steel blue to a deep shifting copper. The silhouettes of the other islands appear on the horizon, floating in the haze like things that have not fully decided whether to be there or not. Everything stops. The birds stop calling. The insects go quiet. Even the wind, constant since you arrived, takes one slow breath and holds it. The silence here is not empty. It is a very full silence. The kind of silence you find in cathedrals, or in rooms where something important has recently happened. It is the silence of a place that has existed for millions of years before humans arrived, and will exist for millions of years after they are gone. Standing on this edge of this volcano in this light, you feel something that has no clean English translation. The Cape Verdeans call it saudade, the ache and the beauty of a thing felt at the same time. The most valuable thing that a life of scarcity teaches, and Cape Verde has been teaching this for 5 centuries, is the exact value of everything. In a society of abundance, value is always relative. If something breaks, you replace it. If you have too much, you discard. The calculation of how much something is actually worth in real human labor and real natural resource has been outsourced to a price tag and forgotten. In Cape Verde, you still need to know. The fisherman knows exactly how much fuel his boat uses per kilometer of open ocean, and he calculates every trip against the likely catch. The farmer on Santo Antão knows exactly how many hours of labor went into a particular terrace wall, because he helped build it with his father, and he knows exactly how many harvests that wall needs to produce before it has paid for itself in food. The woman filling her water barrel at 5 in the morning knows exactly how many liters her household needs for a day, because she has been calculating this her entire life. This is what the isolation teaches, precision, and strangely, it teaches joy. When you are stripped of excess, what remains is exactly what you actually need. The cup of coffee, the guitar, the ocean, the family on the doorstep as the sun goes down. We asked at the beginning, what keeps people anchored to these rocks in the middle of the Atlantic when the sky refuses to give them rain? When the land grows almost nothing? When the world outside is full of easier options? They stay because the volcano is their volcano. It is theirs in a way that no apartment in a European city will ever be anyone's. They stay because Morna was written here, and the version of Morna that exists in Rotterdam bars, played for Cape Verdeans in exile, is never quite the same as the version that drifts from an open window in Mindelo at dusk. They stay because cachupa, made from the exact corn grown in the exact volcanic soil of this exact island, tastes different from every imitation made anywhere else. They stay because the ocean viewed from the top of a cliff you climbed on a particular morning with a particular quality of light, is not the same ocean you can see from anywhere else. They stay, and many return, because they have learned, by living on the edge of possibility, what is actually essential and what is merely available. They have built a civilization on almost nothing. And it turns out that almost nothing, arranged with enough care and music and community, is enough. The last ferry from Santo Antão has arrived in the harbor of Mindelo. The ropes are thrown, the engines cut. The dock workers catch the lines and tie her off, and the ramp comes down, and the people flow out. Some carrying bags, some carrying children, some carrying nothing. Eyes already scanning the dock for the face they are looking for. In the city behind the harbor, the street lamps have come on. From somewhere up in the hillside neighborhood, from a window, from a bar, it is impossible to tell exactly. A guitar begins to play. It is a Morna. Sunk slow and searching in a minor key. A song about departure and return, about belonging to a place that is impossible and beautiful, and specifically yours. The music comes down through the streets, and out over the dock, and out across the harbor, and out onto the dark Atlantic, carried by the same trade wind that has been blowing across this ocean since before any of these islands had a name. On the hillside above the city, looking out over all of it, the lights of Mindelo are glowing in the dark, a small, warm cluster of human light on a tiny island in the vast black Atlantic Ocean. From the right distance, it looks fragile, improbable, like a fire that should not be burning but is, like a flame someone cupped in both hands against the wind and kept.